On today's CrossFit Games Update show, we get ready for the weekend at the Atlantic Regional. Ben Smith starts his title defense, but there is a talented field of veterans looking to keep him from heading back to the Games. Can Christy Adkins and Telena Fortunato battle back to Carson? And the 12 Labors Lions look to build on a solid campaign in 2015. The CrossFit Games Update show starts now. Hi everybody, welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with the usual suspects, Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood. The Atlantic Regional gets kicked off this Friday, and of course the big story there is that other than 16.5, this is the first look we're going to get to see of Ben Smith in a competitive setting.
Get to see the champ go head-to-head with the kid, Noah Olson. And then on the women's side, Sam Briggs was in this region last year. That spot's opened up. And Whitney Gallin also, she's moved regions, so there's some room there.
But there's still a deep men's and women's field in this particular region, and we get to see the past two CrossFit Games competition winners in the Open and the Games go head-to-head.
Here are the top stories that we'll be talking about today and also keeping an eye on throughout the weekend. First, of course, Ben Smith starting his title defense from last year. A couple of Games veterans on the women's side, Telena Fortunato and Christy Adkins, trying to get back to the Games after missing last year. And then on the team side of things, 12 Labors CrossFit, extremely impressive at the Games last year, trying to build on the success that they had in 2015. Let's take a look at the men's seeds going into the regional competition. We took the Southeast and the Atlantic regions, combined them, acted as if they were the only two to participate in the Open, and your top seeds based on that: Noah Olson and Travis Mayer, two Games veterans. Aaron Hanna sits in 6th, another Games vet, and then Ben Smith is seeded 7th. Now, this is only based on Open performance. Now, Ben Smith traditionally has shown up at the regionals, hasn't practiced any of the events beforehand, done extremely well, and got himself to the Games. Now, last year he was 4th. Given what we've seen so far in the 3 regionals, he's got to change his approach, and you talk to him, and that's indeed what's happening.
He says the landscape has evolved enough that this year he's going to go ahead and test, if not the whole workouts, but elements of them. But here's why I'm not worried about Ben Smith. He's at 25 years young, been to the Games 7 times. Okay, he took 4th last year, but he's won his regional 5 times. This kid is just a machine.
And when it comes to testing the workouts, he's had the benefit of having his 2 younger brothers who also qualified as individuals to prep and test these workouts side by side. He posted on social media the other day that he hit a 295-pound snatch after doing event number 1. And then he also mentioned that he said these workouts could have been a full Games in the past. To me, that only speaks to how much it benefits him, because you talk about Games, you talk about increased loading, increased volume, increased skill, all of which benefit Ben Smith.
Yeah, I think one reason too why he's going to have to step up his game is we've learned, look, nothing is guaranteed regardless of who you are, given what we saw last week. But there are 10 Games veterans in this field who are looking to supplant him atop the leaderboard.
And let me break down those 10 Games vets for you. We have 4 of the 5 qualifiers from last year. We have 3 qualifiers from 2014, including Travis Mayer, who performed extremely well in the Open. You have 3 from 2013. And then you have guys like Jacob Anderson, ZA's younger brother, Julian Cerner, who perform well at regionals, are always kind of in the mix, and then 2 of what I call the human monkey wrenches, and Dominic Marici and Irving Hernandez. Guys that always show up big in 1 or 2 events and walk away with an event victory and kind of shake up the leaderboard just a little bit. That's not even including the top finisher from the Mid-Atlantic, Thomas Ney, who really has to prove a lot of doubters wrong in how well he performs at regionals.
Weekend 1 showed us that some new guys, if you will, could take some spots, but and there are some veterans that are not going to make it easy. We chatted about Ben Smith, but then Noah Olson, 2 times Games athlete, won this region last year. First place worldwide in the entire Open in the men's competition. He is a 100% threat. Then Nathan Bramblett. He's been to the Games once. He took 5th place in this region last year. He's been working all year with Chris Spieler, hopes to improve upon that position. Then Aaron Hanna. I really like this guy. 1 time at the Games, he won the clean and jerk, but he took 36th on Murph, and he had that self-awareness that much of a lopsidedness isn't good, so he's really hoping to show up a more well-rounded athlete. And then finally, Travis Mayer, 2 times Games athlete. He took 8th last year at this regional, so he didn't make it, but he is on a tear. Currently, he finished third place worldwide in the 2016 Open, so he looks like he is showing up ready to make it back.
Let's move over to the women's side. Here are the seeds going into the regional competition. Once again, we took the Mid-Atlantic and the Southeast, combined them as if they were the only two regions in the Open, and the woman sitting atop the seeds is Emily Bridgers. Last year, she won this regional, won 4 events in the process. I know I said yesterday that was only Yonakoski. I was mistaken. I apologize for overlooking Emily Bridgers. She was one of 2 women to do that. The other was Cara Webb. And then 4 other Games veterans there: Cassidy Lance, Anna Tunnicliffe, Christy Adkins, and Kalina Ladaris. We'll get to Emily Bridgers in a second, but Telena Fortunato and Christy Adkins are trying to get themselves back into the Games, and we forget how much of a fixture that Christy Adkins was at the Games before last year.
There's so many athletes we have to talk about that it's tough to keep all the stats in your head, unless you're this man right here, the human machine. But I looked at it up today. I was like, oh, Christy's been to the Games 6 times. That's incredible. She didn't make it last year because she took 6th at regionals and just missed out. What hurt her was the handstand walk and the 1-rep max snatch. We will see handstand walking this year. We will see a snatch ladder. So if she's put in the work, she might make it to the Games for the 7th time.
And what seems like eons ago, Telena was the top rookie in 2012. She finished on the podium taking 3rd. Backed that up the following year in 2013 with an impressive 5th place finish as well. Unfortunately for her, 2014 was kind of derailed by an injury where we saw her struggle with the overhead squat and basically get a rep in one-legged.
Right.
She took last year off. She was focusing on supporting Sam Briggs as her PT and kind of body worker there. But I think day number 2 for her is going to be telling. Telena has always been skilled with the barbell and has a good gymnastics base. Day 1 should be fine. Day number 2, 2 events where you really just gotta go, put your head down and suffer. I think if she does well here, then we might be seeing the Telena of old.
What about some of these other names that people may not be too familiar with that have been close as far as making it to the Games? Who in that group has a chance now of finally breaking through?
I've got two women in particular. One that might be not as familiar to other people, Carolyn Dardini. She was 8th last year at regionals, 14th in 2014, so she's slowly improving at the leaderboard. This year, she's 1st in the Open in Mid-Atlantic. 16th worldwide, but each year at regionals, she's had to finish outside of the top 25. And we've seen with other athletes in particular, like Brooke Entz, one bad finish can really kind of derail regionals for you. Aaliyah Helmick, though, the wife of Gary Helmick, who was qualified for the Games as an individual in 2013, she has been so close for 3 years. Last year, 7th, 2 spots away. 2 years ago, 5th, 2 spots away. 3 years ago, 4th, 1 spot away. Kind of brings back memories of Emily Bridgers when she couldn't quite get over the hump, but when she did, she showed up in a big way, and this could be Aaliyah's year.
Combine those 2 groups, Pat, only 5 women can go, and there are a ton of talented women in this regional. Who do you think has the best shot?
Well, one of them you just mentioned, that's Emily Bridgers. So she has been to the Games twice. First time she went, exploded onto the scene, took 6th. Last year took 24th, but don't let that fool you. I don't think that's indicative of just how capable she is. She's won her region the last 2 years. She finished 8th worldwide in the Open, and that is her 5th consecutive year being in the top 10 worldwide in the Open, so she is not a fluke. She could take the whole thing. And then Cassidy Lance. Cassidy's been to the Games 3 times. She took 4th place last year at regionals. She had all top 10 finishes. However, 29th on Tommy V really hurt her. We're going to see thrusters and legless rope climbs again this year, so hopefully she has worked on those weaknesses. And then lastly, Anna Tunnicliffe. Anna's been to the Games 3 times. She took 3rd last year at regionals. And you have to think of her, you think of engine, almost like Sam Briggs level capacity, but historically what has hurt her, handstand walking, some overhead strength like snatches, both of which we're going to see again this year. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge even for the veterans.
But finally, on the team side, 12 Labors CrossFit last year didn't even win the regional. They finished 3rd, yet they go to the Games and had an extremely impressive performance. They're back this year. They're the 12 Labors Lions. How do they build on the success that they had last season, ultimately culminating with a great finish at the CrossFit Games?
Yeah, I'm going to focus on that Games finish where they took 6th at the Games, and they're really very close to cracking the top 5 and even making it onto the podium. As a team now that knows they can perform well at the Games, they're going to have their sights set on winning. And if you want to win at the CrossFit Games, you have to win your regional first. The Affiliate Cup champion for each of the last 6 years has also won their regional as well. So that means they need to show up big time at regionals, show that they're the cream of the crop in this region, and this regional in particular, and then carry that over for the Games.
So by that stat, does that mean Invictus ain't going to win this year?
Yep.
All right.
Wow,
Ooh, I like that.
bold.
I like that. Here we go. But getting back to 12 Labors, what they also have going for them is just poise under pressure because they took third place at regionals last year, not operating at 100%. One of their females got injured. They continued on, good leadership, good teamwork, and still finished third. So a happy, healthy 12 laborers. It's a real threat.
Yeah, the Atlantic Regional gets going on Friday. Tickets are still available in Atlanta, Georgia. Go to games.crossfit.com for those. If you can't make it to the venue and you still want to watch all the action, we got you covered. You can stream every heat of every event live, also on the game site. And Tommy, Pat, and I will be here with you all weekend to keep you updated on what's going on out west and also break down everything that's happening in the regional you're watching. Be sure to go to Facebook, like the games page. You'll get a notification whenever we are up on Facebook Live at either the West or the Atlantic Regional, bringing you all the behind-the-scenes stuff that you're not going to see as part of the broadcast. Week 2 about to get started here in a couple of days. For Pat Sherwood and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you soon.